The 250 Supercross East Region class was off to a wild start in 2024, but it appears to finally be settling down after 5 rounds, although the rider pulling the consistency card the hardest is an unlikely candidate. Haiden Deegan, as he takes on the first Triple Crown race of the year at the Monsterenergy Supercross, Round 10 Indianapolis, one of the toughest tracks of the season. After a tough beginning of the season battling through injuries, Haiden is getting back up to his blistering speed, ready to battle for wins and fighting to win the East Coast Championship, for anything can happen in this sport. McAdoo won the first race, then Haiden Deegan won race 2, leaving them tied for the lead, heading to race 3. Deegan tagged a tough block and went down off the start, and from there McAdoo managed the race to log the overall. Deegan went 2-1-6 to at least grab a podium after missing it at Dayton and Birmingham. The crash going into turn 1 of the third race ended any chance of battling McAdoo for the overall win, but he came back through the pack to manage third overall. You could say the pressure got to Deegan off the start in that third and final main event, as running a bit too close to the tough blocks took him out of a top 2 finish mere seconds into that race. To his credit though, he made a ton of passes to salvage home a third and limit the points losses he would have had. I wouldn't call it impossible for him to win this championship at this stage, but he'll need to turn things up a notch, down 16 points. The entire Supercross world now has all eyes on Haiden Deegan and the 2024 Supercross Lights East Coast title. With little to no pressure, Haiden was able to take home 3 Supercross podiums, 4 motocross podiums, 2 wins and even the Super Motocross title and $500,000 last year. Brian Deegan knows that winning a title in his second professional season would bring a lot of fame and an increasing market value. However, achieving and taming this privilege also requires important qualities and principles that Haiden Deegan does not yet seem to be in tune with. The tough maneuver against Yamaha Club MX rider Cody Schock, who suffered an injury, also caused further negative publicity in the media and the scene. With 16 points behind first place, the title is still within reach, but Haiden is moving further and further away from it with every further negative action on and off the track. It remains to be seen if and when Father Brian's game changer comes into play. But the fact is that tempers are increasingly turning negative towards Deegan, and this can legally have a counterproductive effect on a driver and his public perception. When it came down to it, in the final race, Deegan had to abandon the consistency and let it all hang out again to make sure he still made it to the podium. McAdoo, for the moment the Mr. Consistency of the class, now has taken the points lead from Viale by just 2. Deegan is 16 points back, and Pierce Brown is still third in points despite a bad first race and a big crash in the second race. Somehow his 12.42 scores left him 4th overall. Other 250 contenders had bad nights. Max Anstey was off the track early in the first race. He ended up a disappointing 13th overall, and title hopes are gone. Seth Hamaker also had crashes and was 9th overall. Now 250 East is taking a break as the 250 West Region Championship resumes for the next 2 races in Seattle and St. Louis.